Hey, welcome back to Cocktails with Nickie. How's everybody doing tonight? Feel free to leave comments on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'll be sure to answer those. Tonight we have, hey, how are
Hi.
you? Welcome.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, I actually have my headphones on tonight. I guess I've learned some valuable lessons after doing this for so long. Sometimes you might get feedback, so uh, welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Ekiuwa Asemota. I am a designer, teaching artist, and creative director of an amazing company called Your Queens, in which we teach about African royalty through storytelling, song, and dance.
Can you tell everyone where they can find out more about Your Queens?
Absolutely. You can check out our website at yourqueens.com. That's YOURQUEENS.com. You can also find us on social media on Instagram at Your Queens Inc. INC, on Twitter at Your Queens as well, and Facebook.
So, what inspired you to start Your Queens?
I started Your Queens back in 2015. And what inspired me, I love my journey as an artist. I love my journey as a Black woman. I love my journey as a human being in this world. I love evolving and growing. So I started out, I've started in my career since I was the age of 15, dancing, modeling, designing. And one day, and of course, with so much going on in the world right now, Your Queens was birthed as an idea. I went to a birthday party in October of 2014, and a friend of mine invited me to a birthday party to support her daughter. And I didn't have any children yet, but I was greedy, so I love food. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to this birthday party, but not knowing that I was there for a mission. And I say that because when I was at the birthday party, so many of our Black and brown kids were there partying. And then there were two white princesses. Usually nothing wrong with that. You go to a party, see a white princess, they're having fun, the kids. But I literally felt I put God at first in everything I do. I pray before everything that I do. And at that moment, I felt like I was sitting down on a throne. And at that moment, God told me, I brought you here because I wanted you to start your own company of African queens. And from October to January of 2015, I did so much research. I have the queens on my shirt, so much research on Makita, Isis, Nefertiti. And I wanted to make sure I embodied them very well. I was able to work on their costumes. It took time. So it took 4 months. And by January of 2015, we launched it and hit the ground running. And we've been able to provide over 250 events and workshops, self-esteem workshop, and different things like that all over New York City and even outside of New York City. So I would say it was a vision, and I just became obedient and I followed the vision.
Amazing. So, tell us a little bit about your background. You mentioned that you had a dance performance background. Do you want to tell our audience about your journey in regards to that?
Yeah, I would say dance is my first love. Dance is my language. I know dance better than I speak. And it's a way, as I evolve, I find myself to be a healer. I heal through dance. I've been able to work with 3-year-olds all the way to 80-year-olds. And I started dancing when I was 9 years old. I lived in Nigeria. My father's Nigerian. My mother is Dominican. I got to spend my childhood 7 years living in Nigeria. So I got to experience so much culture, so much religion, so much love, and so much honor for our elders. So definitely that set a path for me. After that, we moved to New York. My parents put me in African dance class. Then I fell in love. I joined a self-esteem workshop by an amazing man named Jim Hill. He was that Black man back in the 70s and 80s who was the only model in magazines and different things like that. He really trained me when I was at 15, trained me to be a model and trained me to have confidence in myself. And that just catapulted to while I went to high school, college, I joined dance troupes. And college, I minored in dance. And then after that, I started a company called Eki's Famous. Eki means joy. My whole name is Ekiwa, but my company's name is, one of my first company's name is Eki's Famous. And I was able to design one-of-a-kind jewelry and do a lot of different dance workshops. And I thought that was it. But like I said, in 2015, Your Queens was birthed. And it just kind of completely makes sense throughout my journey. It just felt like that was the right time to do that. So dance to me I'm inspired by Alvin Ailey because and so many other, Judith Jameson, Martha Graham, and I love that they were able to find who they are through theirs. Alvin Ailey is very rooted in spirituality, and I found that my niche is self-esteem building. So I love working with people that who feel like they can't do it, but you can. I believe that I have a gift. I'm a great teacher to get that confidence out of you. So I'm always going to make my students, I see dance as a tool of life. I'm always going to make my students get in front of me and express yourself, or then know how to work together in groups. But I tell them, like, if you can stand strong by yourself in front of me, whether you make a mistake or not, because life is a journey, you can accomplish anything in life.
So tell us about your journey or your transition, excuse me, from living in Nigeria and living in the US. Was that easy for you?
I think even at a very young age, I definitely dealt with some self-esteem issues, which makes sense to what I do now. But those are also moments of me being very fearless. And I think it was just how my father instilled that in us. So when we came to New York, it was hard. It was in the 90s. We came to New York in the 90s. We grew up in Bed-Stuy. It was literally the time when Mandela came to New York. So it was apartheid going on. There was so much happening. But I remember we came to New York and it was snowing. So I loved the snow. That was exciting. There was friends tried to bully me, but I kind of looked at it like, what are you doing? I don't understand this bully business. So I would ignore it. I get so much support. Like, I end up being the cool girl with all the guys. So anybody that tried to mess with me, the guys will be like, no, we're protecting her. So, but we were so excited to come to New York. And it was different that stood out. That was very different. If you were older than me, when we lived in Nigeria, whether it was 2 or 3 years, you were auntie or uncle. So when we came to New York, I would call people auntie and uncle that was a few years older. And they're like, mm-mm. So we had to unlearn certain things. It was an adjustment. Or just even simple things like the television, we called it telly. And then I still had a very thick accent. And so that transition, and I'm sure like if I have a older sister and a younger brother, and they have also different experiences and stories. But I remember almost being bullied, but then I was like, yeah, what are you doing? I don't understand this. But I feel like I did really well because I was born in New York. I was born in New York to age 2, and then we moved to Nigeria from age 2 to 9. But coming back here, we were looking forward to it, and our parents prepped us very well, and they put us right into art. They put us right into art as soon as we came to New York.
Wow, what were some of the dance troupes that you worked with, starting when you started at 9 years old up until today?
So I went to a well-known school, Clara Cardwell 308, which is in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. So I joined a dance company there with Miss Jarvis, who still performs right now. After that, I went to high school and joined dance ensemble with John Gorin. Then I went to LIU for a year and worked with legendary Diane Harvey. After that, I minored at Hofstra University and joined a program there. What's so interesting is I always wanted to tour with a dance company, but I feel like God had a message for me. He's like, no, I need you to start your own.
Right.
So I started Ecki's Famous, and Ecki's Famous, not only do I design jewelry and one-of-a-kind pieces, but I was able to create choreography using positive music to make a difference in the world. So right now, having Ecki's Famous has been... You were going to say something?
No, I was listening.
Oh, yeah. Having Ecki's Famous has been... it just kind of, for anyone, those who are listening, like never think that you have to do something like that. Maybe the callings for you is to do your own, to have your own company.
Right.
Yeah, to be able to inspire many lives.
For anyone who just joined, please visit yourqueens.com to learn more about her business. It is an African character company that she started after attending a party. And something I wanted to ask you, how do you manage your creative juices with your entrepreneurial spirit? How do those work hand in hand?
It's a balance. So I'm always I'm honest with myself. I always used to say I'm only creative, but you have to know who you are. So what I do is I surround myself with people like me or smarter or greater than I. So if I can't do it, I know that I have someone who's great with finance, or someone who has a vision in marketing, or someone who can have vision and be a manager. So it's growing a team that sees the vision, and then we could work together. But I'm also very honest with myself. I'll schedule. I may say, okay, Monday I work on marketing. Fridays I work on finance. And it's just literally being consistent in that way.
That's love it.
Yeah.
So tell us about your team.
Oh, my team, they're amazing. We're a group of, I want to say 14, but we also have a plethora. We have a board of directors. We also have a group of prince and princesses. My team are Rashina Thomas, who's an educator, Shannon Alamo, who's also an educator, Lalisha Stevens, who is a nurse, Jodan Gills, who's an architect and a photographer. We also have Timmy Larode, who's a healer. She's right now actually upstate doing like shamanic healing work. And then we have her sister, Cookie Larode, who's in school right now for her bachelor's in performing arts. Then we have a new king named Roberto, who also works in the public school system. And then we have my sister, Ekiuwa Asemota, who is my manager. Ekiuwa Bartholomew, excuse me. Yeah. Who's as my manager, as an advisor. She's just literally my right hand. My mother, Mercedes Asemota, who's on our board. But as I mentioned, we're also grooming a group of prince and princesses right now. And during COVID, we were able to launch a rites of passage program where our queens and kings are now mentoring our prince and princesses.
I love it. I was going to ask you if you're going to start like a mini version of the prince and princesses.
Oh, yeah. They've performed for 2 years already. They've performed.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it.
2 years already. They've performed with us. Yeah.
So not only are you the creative director / founder of Your Queens, you also have a beautiful doll line. Did you want to share the dolls with everyone today? Do you have one handy?
I do not. I had to change locations last minute.
Okay.
Not in my home at the moment.
Oh, that's too bad.
My apologies.
So everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much. I will be sure to share some pictures of the dolls on my Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn page. Unfortunately, StreamYard does not really work with Instagram. So I use LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter more for promotional purposes because that's where our audience comes from. So I'll post on those pages. Okay, you guys. Now, let me survey the audience. Does the audience have any questions regarding Your Queens? Okay, one question I have is, where is your business located?
We are in New York City. We're in New York City. We do travel. We've traveled to Ghana. I've traveled to Nigeria. I've traveled to Japan. I've traveled to Atlanta and Virginia, but we are based here in New York City.
And the other question they had was, do you touch all 50 states? Do you travel for your parties? If so, how do they go about booking you?
Absolutely. Just go on our website. You can go on our website. You can also email us at yourqueens@yourqueens.com. YOURQUEENS @yourqueens.com. And also on our website, yourqueens.com.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate your time. And again, everyone, feel free to watch any past shows on demand on our Facebook page at Good Girl PR and visit yourqueens.com. Do you want to share your social media handles for us, please?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate. Thank you to the viewers. So Your Queens Inc. Again, YOURQUEENSINC. I say Your Queens because we are here for you.
Right. And Your Queens Inc. on Instagram.
On Instagram and on Twitter. And then Facebook, Your Queens.
Love it. Well, thank you everyone for joining tonight. This week has been a crazy week for Good Girl PR. We've been quite busy, busier than normal, which is crazy because we're dealing with COVID, but still a blessing. So thanks everybody for your support and referring our clients and tuning in to learn more about her business, Your Queens. Again, you can visit that at www.yourqueens.com. Your Queens Inc. on Instagram and Your Queens on Facebook.
Yes.
Well, good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. Be
Oh,
well.
no problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye.